Hey everybody, welcome back to the stream where we build real apps online. And here we are. We've been working on FQauth, which is a open source sign-in with Apple server, along with an iOS library and a Vapor middleware. How's your Monday going out there? It sure feels like a Monday. But what does put a pep in my step is that we're now 6 people away from the YouTube follower goal for the Thai stream. Oh, I didn't say what the goal is for. Goals, Thai stream, Thai emoji. So thank you so much for the follows. Looks like we might actually hit that this week. And Twitch is still coming along too for the secondary goal of having a second Thai stream. Let's see. So last time we were working on the NetworkingHelper, this file right here, and we got a lot of progress. We're automatically refreshing the token when it's expired, and we use the refresh token to do that. We have these tests to assert that it works, and that feels really good. Now, kind of at the end of the stream, we noticed that there's a little bit of duplication here. And basically, we need to store this new authorization somewhere. And we had been storing it, I think, in the LoginController. Oh, we're not actually storing it in the LoginController. We have to notify the LoginController somehow. Because right now we're just storing it in the keychain, and that's it. So, yeah, I was thinking maybe we need like a spot at the top level. Let's see, in the app. Oh, and this is, by the way, this is just the sample iOS app. We're going to use this to extract a library that we can use across all of our apps, which of course will be open source, so you can use it in your own apps as well. Yeah, so we have this LoginController at the very, very top. And perhaps we need something else, like a current auth holder, current auth observed object, or something like that. But before we just jump into the code, we do have some fresh emojis. I made a bunch of emojis yesterday. I just started making them and kept going. we have success. We have fail. Just dropping these in the chat. We have heart and party. I'm really happy with how the party came out. We have heart eyes. And we made Lady Liberty in the same style. Oh, and of course, we have 4 animated emojis as well. I made these as SVGs in Inkscape. And I exported them to PNGs using the Inkscape's command line tool. And of course, this is all orchestrated with Swish, my Swift command line helper, command line tool runner. And then it uses FFmpeg to collate all those images into an animated GIF. And of course, those are on the Discord as well. Those automatically sync over, which is a lot of fun. And I guess that's it for announcements. You got the emojis, we got the updates on the goals. So I think it's time to jump into some code. Right, so we're thinking about making a new state object or something like that for the current auth. Let's see. Maybe not exactly in networking. Let's make a new folder. Call it core for now. And I guess we can call this new thing current auth holder. That's a terrible name. We can do better than that. Now see, in iOS, or at least back in Mac OS, controller meant like something that manages a bunch of data. And a view controller is something on a screen. I feel like if I say authorization controller, it might not have the right connotation, but I think that's what I'm gonna go with for now. Maybe a current authorization controller. And can I make this an observable object? Looks like I can. And what I think I'm going to want on this is the at published of current authorization, which might be nil. And on init, I want to get it out of the keychain. Maybe I want that as a separate function. Let's start with that. And this, of course, is a computed variable that we put on a keychain extension. And I guess this can come into this like little core library. It's not really part of the login screen. Oh, same thing with user. Okay. And I guess current authorization doesn't have anything to do with this screen either. Yeah, I think I was sticking it all in the login folder to help make it easier to extract a library later. But we do want to provide like a few default things, or have maybe multiple iOS libraries, like one with FQauth iOS core and then FQauth iOS like sample screens or something like that, like reusable screens. Like just to get you started, and then as you build your own auth screens, you can leave out the screens that I provide and use your own. Whew. Yeah, this morning I was I guess I'm noticing that I'm a little bit more tired than I was expecting. I'm noticing that so I guess this morning I was posting screen stream previews posted it to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and I tried to post it to Snapchat, but I couldn't quite figure out Snapchat. So I guess a lot of my talking energy has already been spent out a little bit. I didn't really get much of a break in there since, yeah, maybe I overdid it, but that is something that I want to be doing to help people find the stream. And I found it was really helpful for myself too, because in the stream preview, I say what we did last time and what we're going to do this time. And that really gets me, ready to hop right in. Okay, so if you have something like this. Hey, Bruce Leaf, how's it going? Welcome back. Always good to see you. So if we come back here, perhaps we'll start off as a state object of this new current authorization controller. Bruce Leaf says, going good. App intents are mean. I think you're not talking about an AI having an intention to do something. I think you're talking about like shortcuts or something like that. Yeah, I started doing that a little bit for Underway, but I didn't get as far as I would have liked. Bruce Leaf says, Apple Watch Ultra action button thingies. Ooh, that's exciting. Did they give you a test Apple Watch Ultra to test this on? Because that would make me really sad if I got an Apple Watch Ultra to test. Oh no! Oh man, I thought I was telling a playful joke. Oh, you have your own. Cool. So if we have something like this, perhaps this should be the only place that accesses the keychain, this current authorization controller. Maybe. I'll write that down as a note. And then we have this login view. Which has the login controller. Login controller has its own current authorization. Oh, and also has its own sign out method. Well, this definitely should go over here onto this current authorization controller. And I'm thinking this should have a reference to this new current authorization controller that we just made. Let's see, where do we create this? So this was kind of acting as I'm kind of imagining that this current authorization controller would act as sort of the end all be all of managing the login state. But it's getting a bit too heavy, which is the motivation for this refactoring. It's doing all the sign in with Apple stuff too, and it's a little unnecessary. And it has all this on it as well. So this login view is going to get a current authorization controller. Wow, this is kind of a long name. And I think it's gonna create its own login controller. let's see, I think I want to make it in the init. Let's see how this plays out. This one's to initialize to nil. Oh, this needs the current authorization passed in. I wanted to just interact with the current authorization controller. Okay, so kind of made a little bit of a mess here, trying to kind of stretch the edges of what I think we want to do. Now that I have a better idea, let's try to do it in a more sane way. Oh, we're kind of in a weird spot to revert as well. But that's okay. I'll just copy this into my paste buffer. Let's see, what's our status? Has those renames in there still? I guess that's okay. Let's just regenerate the project, make sure it's nice and clean, and let's open it again. Oh, let me get my tea. And crack the window. Okay. So what would be a more sane way to do this? I want to have this LoginController use the current authorization controller instead of this current authorization directly. And I want everywhere else in the app to do that as well. So I guess we need kind of a little bit of a plan here. We don't really have tests around these controllers. And this is kind of tightly coupled with how sign-in with Apple works. So it will be hard to test. So let's start again at the top here. And let's provide it to the argument. Must conform to observable object. Cannot find type. Oh, it's missing import foundation. Yeah, calling it current auth controller feels a little bit better than current authorization controller. And then let's look for everywhere that LoginController is created, I guess. In the app and in the previews. Oh, so just in the previews. Okay. So we can we can work with that. So this the sign up button can get the current authorization controller out of the environment as well. And that will just call sign out. Oh, import keychain short. And then where else do we find in our search? The login view. This gets initialized with the login controller, which kind of makes sense. We don't want it to depend on the login controller. Okay, so now it has both. And I think we can make this a state object. Well, let's wait 1 second there. We need to restructure how LoginController works to, I guess this should use the current auth controller. And it's only created here, so that makes it a little bit easier. So we're no longer going to pass LoginController to everything in the environment. I guess the login view will be responsible for creating the login controller. Let's see. So this is just going to be init, and then login controller equals is a get only property. So if I go, oh, it's get only. How do I initialize this with an initial value? Maybe it doesn't need to be a state object. What would be published on here other than, oh, I guess the current login attempt. Okay, so I guess it still needs to be a, so if it's an observed object, I'm allowed to create it like this. Okay. Oh, but at init here, I don't have the contents of the environment object yet. Can I get stuff out of the environment from inside of an observed object? Let's see what Google has to say. And we want to get it inside of a, let's see, how would I search for this? Like the pattern is controller, but I'm not sure everyone calls it that. I guess we could start with searching it for that. Oh, you can initialize it with the environment? That's a little funky. Let's see, have I done this in any of my other projects? I must have. Let's see what I did in Haptic Studio, which is not recent at all. Let's see, root tab view has a bunch of environment objects, and do any of them need to know about each other? Let's see, what does root controller have? This has its own in-memory state. And this also has an in-memory state. Okay. So where does root controller get initialized? Let's see, let's put the paren there. In the main app, in init, we wire everything up together. And then we pass them all down into the app as environment objects. Okay. I guess I could keep LoginController as an environment object, but that just feels a little sloppy. I only need LoginController on the login screen. I guess I could refactor it, kind of like how we did with this. I think it's called logged in. Which needs to be refactored. Before refactoring it, I guess I can say what I'm talking about. I guess we like get something out of the environment here, and then we pass in what we wanted to into the content. Like we could follow that pattern for login view, because in fact it's kind of very similar. There's like one or the other. Hydrate, let's get some water. Thank you so much for the hydrate. It's so hot today. I don't know if the heat is on extra or if it's just hot. It's on the 6th floor here. Wait, 6F, maybe you mean 6 degrees Fahrenheit? That's pretty cold. What is the weather here? Weather in NYC. 53. Oh, that's why I'm so sweaty. It's not supposed to be this hot in January. But apparently New York got redistricted as like subtropical now, which I think is the same ecosystem as Florida. New York City is now subtropical, says the New York Times. What's next? Palm trees. Hey, if we get coconuts. Yeah, so I guess this this login view could be, I guess it could be like a login screen that does kind of one or two things. And like this part down here would be the login view that gets the appropriate stuff kind of passed in. That's a pattern I've used before. Let's see, are we compiling? We are. Okay, so let's make a login screen. I guess this naming pattern is something I've used on other apps in SwiftUI to kind of differentiate something that's intended to be just a view that gets shown versus like something that's in charge of an entire screen. Because everything is just a view in SwiftUI, I use that naming scheme to differentiate for myself and for others just what the intention of the view is. Somebody. So at environment object var CurrentAuthController. Oh, and this needs to import SwiftUI. And this we can copy out from here. And this is going to be, I guess, perhaps assigned in view. Which is just going to be the internal stuff here. Then we can pass in the current authorization. Cannot find login controller. Yeah, I guess this can also have a reference to the current auth controller. Feels a little awkward, right? Because why can't it just get it off of this? Well, here it's guaranteed to be not nil, which is the main thing. And now this login view can take a login controller that has a reference to this current auth controller. So let's drag this to a separate file. Signed in view. Import SwiftUI. And I think I need a different playlist. The first few songs are a lot happier than what we're getting now. So they're a little bit too grungy for my current mood. Let's see, this playlist was nice. Let's see. So we have signed in view. Is the argument label login controller. Perfect. Now we just need to make the login controller take this current auth controller. And it will no longer have a current authorization, it'll have the current authorization controller. And it doesn't need to be published, I don't think. We can put the published stuff next to each other. And we'll let the compiler help us out here. Oh, this is only in, is there anything not in a preview that's broken? Oh, okay, it's just previews then, perfect. So we can make an extension on our login view to make this easier to create, because this is quite a mouthful and it's not going to get easier. Well, let's sketch it out first and then take it from there. Just take a login controller and machine argument for current authorization controller. Yeah, that's a lot. And here's the current authorization for the logged in view. And then this should at least get us compiling, but I'm guessing that some environment objects are going to be busted. Let's see, let's clean up some. Why is this so far? This is quite unreadable. Let's see, it's taking this off help. Control I. Nope. No, these all have new lines on them. Well, yet another reason to refactor. Okay, so we can see, I guess we can move this into a little bit of a fixture. And we'll just stick this here for now. Is that really enough parens? Okay. See, so at least this here will just be self.currentAuth. This is still quite an eyesore. But before we get too far with fixing it, let's see if fail to build scheme app. Right, because now this can be the CurrentAuthController instead of the LoginController. Should this be the login view? I guess that's okay. Let's see, where's that? Was it this one? Yeah, let's try to rerun these previews. I think this T is kicking in. Hey, Tukes, thanks for the follow earlier. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, if you want to chat more with more iOS developers, feel free to join the Discord. What kind of iOS programming do you do? Preview is missing environment variable current auth. Yes, that's what I was kind of expecting. Yeah, because I guess login view is still wants to have an authorization controller, and that's just going to feel a little funky for previews because it's there twice. Tuke says, I'm starting iOS development, and on what advices, which framework should I start with, UIKit or SwiftUI? If you're just starting, I would recommend SwiftUI. It's the future of iOS development. UIKit will always be around, but I feel like it's a little bit less beginner friendly. And you can get pretty far with SwiftUI and still make great apps. I guess there's going to be some advanced things you can only do in UIKit. But that's okay. Maybe by the time you get there, Apple will have fixed it. Oh, wait, this doesn't need... I don't think this needs this anymore. Because this is just the login view. Like, we don't need that outside if let. Let's see, did I get the curlies all stacked up correctly? Looks like I did. Let's build. Oh, I didn't quite. There we go. Okay, let's take this off for a second. Build succeeded. Now let's try to load these previews. Yeah, I guess this is not really, because it's just a preview, it's not exercising anything. So this is kind of a lot of Don't really need this. We don't need 2 at any rate. And I don't want to delete this little fixture here quite yet, because I'm pretty sure we're going to need it in a hot minute. Took says, but they told in order to find jobs, the majority of apps are using UIKit. Yeah, whichever you find more interesting. There's going to be jobs doing both, I'm pretty sure, since SwiftUI is the future. Yeah, I mean, people like to tell people advice of whatever worked for them, and whatever works for them may or may not work for you, especially with finding a job. It's hard to predict what's going to happen exactly. Can I learn both at the same time? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was saying, like, some of the advanced stuff you can only do in UIKit, and if you get to that part of the app that you're making, then you'll need to use UIKit. Okay, so this is a little bit funky here. Let's see. Let's extract it as a helper variable. There we go. That looks a little bit nicer to look at. Ooh, this song sounds nice. Gonna add it to my favorites playlist. Yeah, every year I make a new playlist of all the songs that I like during the year. Been doing that for a few years now. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm not going to delete this quite yet because we're about to need it somewhere else, I'm fairly likely. Okay, so if we run the app, okay, yeah, we're signed out. Oh, I'm not showing the app on this screen. Guess I can do that real quick. We're about to move on pretty fast. I don't want to open something. QuickTime, new movie recording. Yeah, so there's the phone. And I can show it on screen. And then if I click sign in with Apple, we don't have the server running, so it's not going to do anything. Yeah, we just get some gibberish. Okay, so where would we use that? Probably in here. And this is going to need a different name because it just says logged in. It doesn't really say what it is. Yeah, so this needs content. Tukes in the chat says, how did you start as an iOS developer? Well, that is a long story, isn't it? Let's see, what would be the short version? I mean, I remember exactly where I was. I had just got my first iPhone at the Fifth Avenue Cube Apple store. And it was like just after sundown, or like the sun was going down. I was walking along Central Park South, and I was holding my iPhone in my hand. I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to make. Because I had only written like server-side apps and web apps up to that point, where what you're making is on the screen. It's not in your hand, and it's just such a rush to like, hey, look what I made. But my current job was still making server apps, and it would continue to be that way for about 7 years. So I kind of taught myself on the side how to use Xcode and Interface Builder, and later storyboards. And then when I started freelancing in 2014, I would focus on iOS only. And that was quite a few years ago. Quite a few years ago now. So yeah, I got into iOS development because I wanted to, and it took me a long time to organize my career to get there. Let's see, so this needs to be in a group, I guess. I guess you might be asking, like, what let's see, where was that? Like, how did I learn this stuff? I mean, slowly. There was like a Stanford class on iTunes at the time. A lot of Googling, a lot of Stack Overflow, a lot of reading documentation, slowly and surely. Most things don't go from 0 to 100. Most things, and this gets into the theory of how do I change? If I want to change something, how do I change? And it's always one thing at a time. And next thing you know, a lot of things have changed. Yeah, so I guess previews are in a way like unit tests. But I guess there's not really a way to say that it works or not. But I can see that it works. That is what I expect. I feel like I need like a comment on here or something. Yeah, Objective-C was fine. But when they announced Swift, I was like, this is exactly what I want to write in. And it worked out that Swift happened. I really like the decisions they've been making with Swift. I think it's a great language. Yeah, it's my favorite one right now. Tuke's saying, I'm really liking the Apple ecosystem and Swift language, but a lot of people are telling me that there is more opportunities in web. Yeah, maybe, but I mean, what do you want to do? People see the opportunities that they see. You can always make your own app and market that. Maybe always is a little strong, but if you want to do something, there might be ways to do it. People say a lot of things, and I even put myself under that. Like, I only see what I see, and other people only see what they see. I wish more people would make their own apps. Because there's so many cool apps out there that could be made by like only one or two people. That's like too small for a whole company to build. But like a person can still do like as their side gig. I mean, this is really about taking the leap from being an AI to being a person. Like an AI can't desire to do web or Swift or whatever. An AI just processes stuff. But as a person, you can desire you can desire something, and that's special. Bruce Leaf says, I love iOS. I've heard too many times, why do iOS? It's fun and it's worth it, even if it is only for Apple OSs and Linux. But I guess there's no UI on Linux, which you've mentioned previously. Tuke says, yeah, I want to do iOS development, taking risks, even if 95% of users are Android users in that country. Yeah, Kotlin is a good language too. For my Android app, I wrote it in Kotlin. And it's like close enough to Swift, but it still has all the interoperability with Java, which is maybe a plus or a minus, depending on how you feel about Java. Let's see, what is next? We might want to start up the server so we can test this stuff. Well, I want to save this song too. Yeah, I guess if you look at like paintings or like art, it's like that's what somebody wanted to do. They wanted something to exist that looked like that. So I guess maybe in a way I see myself as more of an artist. I don't know. Tuke says, I'm a telecommunication engineer working in 4G, 5G network. I'll change to software development because since I was young, I loved coding. Oh, right on. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a few other folks in the Discord who are trying to learn iOS because they want to switch to it from whatever they're doing now. Let's see, so LoginController, so we can remove the signout method from here. Nice. Let's see, let's start up the server, I guess. Oh, maybe I should start it up in Xcode instead. Okay, resolving package drafts. Give that a moment. I'll open up the microservice as well. FQauth sample microservice. Tuke says, do you have some resources to recommend for someone that just started? Well, I'm around in the Discord, and so are a few other people for questions. But I guess if you want to watch some videos, I haven't made tutorials myself, but there is someone that has, I believe it's, yeah, this guy. He's a senior engineer in London or England somewhere, and he's got lots and lots of videos about getting started with SwiftUI, core data, a whole bunch of stuff. So he's a really nice guy. I recommend checking his videos out. And I can drop that link in the chat. And Bruce Lee says, I always recommend the Swift book for learning Swift. Yeah, this is a nice reference too. It doesn't really tell a story. It might not be helpful for new people, but I've definitely referenced this a lot for trying to learn how Swift works, and this is definitely worth having in your back pocket or even your front pocket. Bruce Lee says, Tukes, if you have any questions, please ask in the Discord. Absolutely. Yeah, if you join, you'll see a bunch of other questions folks have asked that they're trying to learn iOS. Okay, let's start this up. Build succeeded. Cool, so let's start up ngrok. And let's stick the oh, that's the wrong file. Okay. Come back to the iOS app. Yeah, I don't want to show the ngrok URLs on stream, so okay, now let's get the other ngrok going. Uh, 8080. Cool, we come back here and regenerate the project. Oh, Swift, so it should be swish. So now if I run the app on my phone, let's bring up the phone. Sign in, smile. Didn't quite work. Okay, looks like I broke a little bit of something there, which makes sense because, yeah, the LoginController is writing directly to the keychain, and it still thinks it has its own current authorization. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I guess we could have like a login method on, oh, this should be CurrentAuthController. Thank you so much for the follow. Not sure why I didn't show up in the chat, but thank you nonetheless. Welcome to the community. Which brings us up to 175, 25 away from the goal. Oh, this should be a authorization, I guess. And I guess this might need a better name. Okay, and we should delete this off of here. Don't succeeded, perfect. So now let's head back over to the phone. Let's smile. Not loaded. And the buttons are not there either. So something's a little borked. Let's see, I guess this is the current task. The oh, this is the that's a simulator. This thing, the view of the phone. So why is it saying not loaded? Where is that? Oh, it just doesn't have buttons. Okay. Well, let's give it some buttons. Okay, let's go ahead and restart the app. I also noticed that it's not saving my login across launches. Okay, there we go. Now it loaded. I can regenerate it. And now, so if I run the app again, yeah, it's not persisting the login information. So let's see, why would that be? I guess we're never calling this load from keychain. Let's see, let's search for where we're creating this. Yeah, at some point we need to get the current auth out of the keychain. And I'm thinking what I want to do is add a helper initializer, init from keychain. Keychain.currentAuthorization. Should this save a reference to the keychain that it's using? That might make the dependency graph like really long, and it might make it difficult to. Because I really just care about the current authorization. Like, I don't want to keep hitting the keychain. I don't think. But there are going to be times like when I sign out or when I sign in that I do need a reference to the current keychain. Self.keychain equals keychain. Oh, I guess we could have it as a default parameter. Now let's see, if I remove this, this should break a preview. Nil requires a contextual type. Oh, does it? Yeah, this is just empty. Yeah, and then one more. Yeah, so for this example, we want to. This is like testing the interaction between this logged-in view and the current authorization controller, and you don't really care what's in the keychain. It's like I want to stick something in the keychain before I run this little bit of code. Yeah, I guess it gets a little spicy, huh? Like now I want to like add a constructor parameter to the keychain. Actually, that's not a bad idea. What could that look like? Don't mind me just running off. Now we should be building. Oh, we're not? Designated initializer cannot be declared. You mean this be a convenience initializer? Sure. Build succeeded. So let's take a look at that preview. Okay, so these are working as expected. Let's see, it's the same view and I want it to be like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, did that? Yeah, this is actually broken. This got something inside the keychain. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess it's not quite isolated then, huh? So this needs to be optional. There we go. Now we see the login screen. If you see this, it's an error. Success. There we go. Right, so what we were trying to solve is on app launch, we're not reading from the keychain. So let's walk through it again. I think it should be now. So an empty initializer of current authorization controller will be this right here. It's going to use the default keychain. It's going to read from the keychain when it initializes. And I think we can just delete that load from keychain method. We're not using it. Let's see, what's better, on the same line or on two different lines? If I do it like this, it kind of bleeds together a little bit too much. I'm gonna do it like that. Yeah, so let's look at this. Are there any other places we're importing the keychain? Well, we have, oh yeah, the network access. But here we shouldn't need it anymore. Can we delete it from here? Oh, it's for the previews? Yeah, what if we made a current authorization initializer as a helper if for no other reason? This is like neither here nor there. Oh wait, what happened? Come on, Xcode. Build failed. Oh, right, this is why I made that change. So now this can simplify out just a touch. Parent editor functionality and indexing. Well, what happened to our build? Command R. Okay, so then if we sign out, yeah, I guess our current route was the profile screen. I wonder if we should reset the route when we log out. I mean, for such a toy app, it's really hard to imagine what the best behavior is going to be. Okay, well, that was a bunch of stuff. All right, we were looking at this, making sure we don't have any more import keychain access. LoginController, this should be able to remove keychain. Nice. Random string controller, this is using the keychain. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I feel about this. That might be some off-stream thinking to think through what the best factoring would be there. But at least now, coming back to here, like we've extracted out a CurrentAuthController, we refactored the LoginController to use it, and then there might be some NetworkingHelper stuff to do. I think this is a great place to commit, and we can just copy in our tasks. Tukes asks, what is the app that you enjoyed to develop the most? Well, that is easy. This is my app on the App Store and on Google Play. It's for checking the real-time status of the subways in New York City. And we've got the map, we've got all arrivals, we've got, you can share a link to a train to someone that you're trying to meet, and you can meet up on the same train, or they know when to expect you. We've got service alerts. And look at these are like the, these quotes are for like when the app first launched. We got much better quotes now. But yeah, that's my favorite app that I've made anyway. Thank you, Bruce Leaf. Bruce Leaf says, great app with the new emojis. Did I finish committing, or did I lose my train of thought? I did lose my train of thought. Okay, let's push that up. And again, this is all up on my GitHub. Yeah, that's my own app. is all up on my GitHub. There's a few repos that start with FQNetworking for the sample microservice, the sample iOS app that we were just looking at in the main server. I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll continue on with refactoring the network helper. See how that goes. It might be something I want to think about later. And then, of course, the next task is verifying the JWTs on the iOS side. Tukes asks, the Android side, you did it yourself? Yes, I wrote it in Kotlin. I even worked on it on stream a little bit too. You can see those VODs on my YouTube. There's a playlist for Underway, for all the Underway videos I've done on stream. But yes, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be right back. Thanks for sticking around. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. We're working on FQauth, open source signing with Apple Server, and middleware in Vapor, along with the sample iOS app that we're going to get the reusable library from. And yeah, Joannis in the chat says, yo, hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. And just before the break, just before the break, we were refactoring our login controller. Our current authorization was being stored only in the login controller, and we needed to reuse it. We didn't want to pass the login controller everywhere. So we refactored it. Now at the top level, we have a current authorization controller that got passed to the environment instead of the login controller. The login controller is only used by the login view now, which feels a lot better. Now I think there's still a little bit more refactoring to do as I say it out loud. Yeah, inside of this networking helper, which still needs a better name, when we refresh the token, when the token expires, where's that? We have a comment for where it is. Yeah, the new authorization, we don't store it in the keychain. We don't give it to the login controller. Well, for one, because the login controller doesn't own this anymore. It's the CurrentAuthController. Nice use of emojis in the chat there. Yes, I spent all day yesterday making emojis, and it was a ton of fun. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and of course, with everything, everything's a work in progress. Bruce Lee says these emojis are amazing. Why? Thank you so much. I worked on them all day yesterday. And I used Inkscape, which makes SVGs, and I used Swish, of course, to sort of coordinate all this. And Swish would convert the SVG to a PNG so I could upload it, and then I would use Swish to shell out to FFmpeg to turn it into an animated GIF with a transparent background. Yeah, that was a ton of fun. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, so when we refresh the token in the networking helper, we need to store it in the keychain or somehow notify this current auth controller, which means that the networking helper needs a reference to it, which means what? I guess it needs to have a reference to this current auth controller when it gets created, which means perhaps we want to stick it in at the environment level, like at the top. Something like this. And we could pass this in as a dependency here. And then, once we get that to compile, let's see. We can pass them all down to the environment. Which I guess means we need to have these kind of defined here as well. This we can just use the shared one. And we probably want to have the same keychain for both. Cannot find keychain access. Not in love with this, but let's do it for now. Is it going to allow me to do this? Cannot use instance member keychain from property initializer. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, so I guess like we did in my other app, we'll kind of have an init that creates all of our dependencies. Which means this is just the type of that and it's not initialized here. And we'll do the same thing here with our networking helper. CurrentAuthController is a get-only property, is it? Well, I guess this doesn't need to be an observed object. And we were just saying we wanted to pass in the CurrentAuthController into here. Which actually means we don't need the keychain here anymore. If I'm not mistaken. But I guess one refactoring at a time, right? Yep, build failed. Instance method requires that networking helper conform to observable object. I'm not really observing it, but okay, I can play along. Oh, it needs to conform to it, not have the at. Which I guess for starters means it needs to be a class. There's no initializers. It's used before being initialized. It's not exactly true. I initialize it right here, but fine. You can split this into 2 lines. Yeah, then I guess what gets funky is that our other controllers need stuff out of the environment, like the networking helper. And that does not feel as so good. Because we did like a few things for our login view to sort of handle that situation. But having that be a pattern across the whole app for every little thing, that feels bad. That doesn't feel good at all. Let's see, this is used where? Of course, in this view. like we could do what we did for login. We can have a random string screen that gets stuff out of the environment and passes it down to the child view. Import Swift UI. So this would be the networking helper. Still need a better name for that. And this would just show the random string view. And it would pass in this networking helper down. And what else is this thing getting? Oh, we have to pass in the binding as well? That's fair. I'm missing something. What am I missing? All right, we need to make this the random string controller as well. And this is, yeah, so this is the random string screen. Yeah, and then this can take in a networking helper as a dependency, I guess. Am I overthinking it? Maybe. And this will be, this needs to be an observed object. Well, I don't think I need to create the networking helper here. I should be able to get it. Well, let's not get too carried away. Let's kind of take the refactoring slowly. Unknown attribute observed object. That's true. You're not observing it. And this is the same thing, but down here. Yeah, I think this really should be the networking helper instead of the current auth controller, because this is not really checking if we're authorized or not, right? This is just making requests and dealing with them. Yeah, let's get ourselves to a compiling state first, and then we'll take it from there. And this is, yes, need to pass this down. And one more. All right, because we got the we got the networking helper out here. Okay. Yes, let's go ahead and move forward with that refactoring. Well, no, let's get ourselves to a compiling state. Let's stick with the plan. Oof, and though this is the... Oh, these are the previews. Okay. Yeah, let's do that same thing we were doing earlier. Just make one that we can use a whole bunch of times in these previews. Oops. And then, of course, in the tests, yeah, we could really use a fake right about now. Oh, let's stick this in the setup. Yeah, we're going to be not using this keychain real soon now. But for now, we can just pass it in. Oh, okay, yeah, this needs to be that keychain interface instead. So we can pass in mocks. Keychain is a let, make it a var, sure. Guess I could get around that by making this be only objects. Or is it any object? Don't like the idea of that being variable. And I thought we just... Oh, I see. The initializer still had its own... Needed to change the type there as well. Let's see, missing parameter here. Okay. Okay, let's command U to run the tests. Cool, test succeeded. I guess this is kind of an exploratory. So I want to commit, but like maybe on like a refactor branch, I can delete. Let's see. The point of this was NetworkingHelper and the random string controller or random string view need the auth token. Okay, now that we're still all passing, guess we could run it in the app to make sure we didn't break anything. Tukes in the chat says, does Vapor compare to PHP Symfony Node.js where it lacks features? I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. I mean, I guess it's smaller than those, so I would assume that those two have features that Vapor doesn't have, but Vapor has been around for a really long time now. It's on Vapor 4. Vapor 5 is coming out at some point, maybe in a year or 3. And it does a lot. It does enough for what I need, I guess. And for when it does something when it doesn't do something that I need, because it's open source, I've submitted pull requests to add in the missing functionality, and Vapor also has its own Discord if you want to ask something specific to the people there. But I can also try to answer if you have a specific question. Okay, am I not smiling enough? Come on, Face ID. There we go. Oh, did my ngrok fall over? It did not. Let's try signing in again. Invalid client. Well, I broke something. Duke says, it's sad that Vapor is not widely used compared to the others. It is what it is. That's fine. Invalid client. So that is... This is really surprising. This refactoring shouldn't have affected that at all, and yet here we are. I'm staring at the screen, but I'm not showing it on the screen. So invalid client, that's a response from the Apple server. I guess I could triple check my my environment variables. Yeah, let's copy this. And let's open up the code for the other ones. Okay, just need to look at the environment variables, so I'm gonna do that off the screen. No, those line up, those match. Yeah, it's okay to use something that's small as long as it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, then don't use it. If it does, then why not? Especially if you want to. See, I'm feeling a little stuck here. We didn't make any changes to the code for the server, which is where this client ID would be set. And yet here we are with this error response. I checked the app IDs. Nope, those all match. Dukes asked, do you know big companies using Vapor in production? How big is big? I mean, my Subway app uses it. And the thing is, I've ran into this error before on stream, and it was because I didn't have the environment variables lined up. And once I lined them up, it worked fine. Oh, see, now it works. Like, I don't know what that was about. Well, anyway, I guess maybe has anyone else run into that with signing with Apple? Does Apple just sometimes randomly say like bad ID sometimes? And I didn't change anything. I didn't regenerate any projects or restart any servers. I just tried again after looking perplexed. Okay, well, continuing on. Oh, how many users are using the Subway app? I don't know off the top of my head, but we have 108 reviews on the App Store and a 4.5 rating. But I think most people who use the Subway don't write reviews because they're on their way off to the next thing that they're working on. They got people to see, places to go, things to do. So this is more of a refactor than a rename at the moment, although we still need to figure out a better name. Do you work full-time on the app? Not really sure how to answer that either. I've got a lot of projects, that I work on, such as this open source project, the stream. I've got a few other apps in the App Store. There's never enough time to do everything that I want to do for the app. Okay, so how far? Okay, we are clean now. Okay, perfect. Right, so here, so we can write a test for this. Or we can kind of finish that refactoring we were doing with passing in the dependencies on down. I should mean like removing the keychain from the dependencies. So I guess in that model, we would sort of work on turning this into the networking helper instead of the current authorization, and kind of moving around from there. That feels better already, like not calling init down in here. Okay, so now we actually need it. Tukes asks, is it difficult and expensive to host a Viper app or not? I mean, I find it really interesting. I think Heroku kind of changing their business model really affected some people. Depends on traffic. Yeah. I've done a lot of things to optimize my server very well, and I have like really low CPU utilization because of that. Ooh, I'm gonna save this song too. Okay, so these are all become networking helpers. In the preview. And we don't really need a real one here. So should I make a fake for these previews? Oh, this needs to be behind an if debug. Welcome back, Kinks, by the way. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Or a lukewarm minute, I guess. How have you been? Oh, because these are in test. I guess I could bring these into the main app behind a debug flag. King says, thanks, I'm good. Smiles, how have you been? I've been good. I've been doing good. I've been streaming pretty consistently now. Guess I would say season 2 is in full swing. And this project seems to be going pretty smoothly, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, because how is this preview using these networking helpers? I don't think it's really using it at all. Yeah, it needs these, but it's not really using them. Okay, so yeah, let's bring these fakes in so we can use them in our previews. Let's see. I guess right here into core, perhaps. Okay, so we can move networking into core as well. And let's make a fake networking helper. Kinks asks, I see in the queue verified JWT and iOS side. Why? Well, if someone, I guess to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks, just want to check the signature. Because someone could give a JWT that's not signed at all. And then what? With something like Charles proxy or whatever kind of proxy, if they just override your one route and they just send back a JWT that says that you have all the in-app purchases, for example, and your app just kind of blindly receives it, then that seems bad. Although I'm definitely open to feedback, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, I need a rename for this like 100 years ago now, because now I'm using it all over the place. King says, huh, but you leak your secret then, which is worse. I mean, you don't send the private key down to the... Can't you use the public key to verify the signature? You have to use the public key to verify that it was signed with the private key. It's my understanding of private key or public key cryptography. Let's see, maybe we don't need this. Let's pause on that. Didn't I bring these in? Which alg are your JWTs? Let's take a look. Sources, server, auth, JWT, signers using ES512, which is twice as good as the Apple one, which is ES256. Twice means better, right? Something about this isn't sitting right with me. I wonder if the preview should be on the screen instead of the view. So these can all just be environment objects that gets passed to everything, because this is not really, these are not really dependencies of this. Ah, said Kinks, I totally forgot you can choose a different algorithm. And Bruce Lee says, long live SHA-1. Didn't SHA-1 die? Even Microsoft thinks it's dead, so I'd say that's pretty dead. Let's see. I want to make a fake one that I can pass in, and this is getting cumbersome. I'm not having fun with that. Oh, the membership didn't update. Oh, I guess this needs to stay in tests. We do need to lock these behind. Wait, this is using XCTest? I hope not. Okay, here we go. Hydrate. Let's get that water going. Thank you. Oh man, I got a burp coming. Where's the mute button? That is one thing I need to fix, is that my mute button is so far away, it's hard to do it in a hurry. Okay, let's run Command U. Cool. Where's these fakes? These need if debug around them. And not sure if we're going to need this. I don't think it's something we actually need to fake out yet. I guess we'll see. Let's try deleting this. Let's make this file again later. That'll be easier than remembering to delete it later when we realize we don't need it. Now, where was that screen that was using it? Oh, I'm trying to see more code. Yeah, because these views are like kind of impossible to like read what's going on. It needs like all this crap in here. What's interesting is really just the state of the controller. So one approach would be to move this to the screen where we can provide those things as environment objects. Well, I guess except for the current root. An alternative would be to make like a little bit of a helper. And what's the type of this? This is a random string controller.state. Now, this is still pretty gnarly to read, but yeah, that doesn't feel so good using a helper here, does it? Yeah, it's really begging for a refactor, isn't it? Now let's try moving these previews over to the other file. And seeing if it looks a little bit better. Let's see, so this is, so you can pass these in as environment variables. The binding, I wonder if I can put the current route in a binding, in the environment. What did I do on Haptic Studio? See, let's search for navigation path. I didn't use it. Did I not use navigation stack here? Oh, I guess it's just like a whole bunch of tabs. There isn't really any navigation in here, is there? There's just the current tab selection. Okay, let's come back to our code. So here we can say well, on this whole group, we can give it the same networking helper as an environment object. This one here. Yeah, so how would we pass the state down? Because this is responsible for creating it right here. It's kind of a fresh one. I think I'm going to have to come back to this. I can't quite figure out the best way that I would want to do this. Because we still need to create the controller out here, and that means we have to pass in all this crap, and that doesn't feel good. King says, I almost never use previews. Oh, but previews are so good. Yeah, it did take a lot of thinking for like managing SQLite with previews, but once I got it, it felt really good. I haven't quite figured it out yet for what I'm bumping into here, but that doesn't mean I won't figure it out. Just not today. I guess the closest we got was to like making a little bit of a helper out here, so we could just really see the state. I just feel like that's hiding the problem of the dependencies. King says, why invest so much work for something that works in the simulator directly? I guess because it helps me iterate faster. And for like a view that's like maybe a little bit further down inside the app, or even just having to manually press like Command R to see the simulator, having it like automatically refresh on key press is Bruce Lee says never trust the simulator. We'll never trust the preview either, I guess, in that case, since it's technically just a simulator. But yeah, it helps iterate faster and growth and change, and that's all about how fast can you iterate, which helps me stay in flow. You don't have to. I mean, to each their own, right? Or something along those lines. I guess that's why it's important to me. Oh, and especially because I'm the one designing a lot of my apps. Like I'm not taking designs from a designer. I'm like, I need to figure out how it should work as I'm doing it. And if I'm just doing something that a designer gave me, well, there's not that much exploration there, right? I'm just doing something that someone else said. When I'm exploring, I really want that fast feedback. Stuck at 105 out of 109. Okay, so we'll leave that for now. We have some fakes. Let's see, let's run the tests. King says, I see, that makes sense. Why, thank you. Okay, our tests are passing. So let's say we did a little bit more refactoring. And what would we say that what the biggest refactor was here? So let's say random string controller takes NetworkingHelper. I actually forget what line of work you're in, Kinks, or what you're primarily, what kind of apps you work on, I guess, more specifically. Because I guess I'm curious, yeah, if you don't use previews that much, what kind of apps are you making? Because like for signing with Apple, like I have to do a lot of stuff on the phone. Okay, so back here in the main app file, yeah, I'm suspecting that NetworkingHelper does not need the keychain anymore. This is definitely going to break some tests. But that is okay. Yeah, so instead of getting it out of the keychain, we'll just get it out of memory. Extra argument keychain. Yeah, let's take that out. I should turn a light on now that the sun is going down. Thanks. Yeah, I need like a better mute button. King says I did mostly B2B apps, but I did the designs as well. I usually did the designs in other software like Figma to show the clients before starting to implement it. Oh, right on. Yeah, SwiftUI with previews is just like, why would I build it in Figma when I can just sketch out the real thing? Because I guess like I just think in code a little better than I think in drawing rectangles. Okay, now hopefully these will all fail. What did this used to be? Yeah, it just passes in the keychain. So, oh, it's because it's set up here. So we made that helper on current authorization controller. So we're gonna remove the keychain. Yeah, so this is gonna take this keychain. I think we need to set this here. Because the initializer reads from the keychain. Yeah, there we go. And then we need to make sure that we're not... oh, there's keychain usages all over the place. Oh, just up here. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to make a fake current authorization controller because I don't know, maybe it's a little overkill, but I want to assert that it gets sent the new tokens when we refresh. Like where forbidden response triggers token refresh and retry. And does this have the success at the end? Wait, so how is this working when... Oh, right. Okay. So we need to make a... How are we going to make a failing test? We need to assert that the keychain got it. Say that this equals the new access token. And I think this should fail with the current implementation. Perfect. Okay, so now we can go ahead and fix that. Let's close the other tabs. And that's going to be right here. Yeah, right now it just takes new authorization and uses it right away to make the test pass. But here it should really be sticking it in the current auth controller. And hopefully that makes us pass. Let's just run the whole file. Not quite, is it? Okay, let's take a look. So we got the new authorization. We assign it to current auth controller. Oh, it needs to be calling login, not this. Should I say this is private set, perhaps? There we go. Now I can't set it directly. I have to pass it into login. Yeah, how long would that have taken me if I didn't have a test that asserted that? It really uncovered some unexpected, which is why I really appreciate test-driven approaches. Let's see, let's do a little bit of cleanup here. Let's see, is there any other cleanup we want to do in here? I guess LoginController should do this as well. Oh, it's already doing it. All right, that's what we did like way earlier today. Okay. And then let's take another walk through the app for the dependencies. Kinks asks, does Earl session respect cache control headers? I didn't test it. It should. I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't personally run into trouble with it. I run into CDNs not respecting cache control headers. Let's see, maybe we can organize this a little better. Let's see, so who uses the keychain here? Just here. So this doesn't have to be global anymore. That can be here. Bruce Leaf says, I believe there are options for the cache on Earl request. Ooh, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Yeah, sometimes search in Xcode just like doesn't work sometimes. There we go. Cache policy. This is a type alias to cache policy. Reload ignoring local cache, reload ignoring local and remote cache. Kink says, I'm actually serving a file on a CDN with cache control headers, so I was curious if it would work. We love curiosity here. Tukes96 asks, do you think the demand of iOS developers has increased or not? I have no idea. I am not a recruiter and haven't chatted with recruiters as friends in a while. I have no idea. Does anyone else know if the demand of iOS developers has increased or not? Okay, so yeah, we're just checking through our dependencies, making sure things look okay. A few of these things could use new names, that's for sure. Okay, and then let's go down to yeah, so we have like this logged in thing all the way at the top. Bruce Leaf says, who knows? The demand for hybrid has increased. iOS might have stayed the same or increased. I don't have an issue finding jobs. Enough recruiters bug me. King says, I don't know if it increased right now, probably not. Yeah, so many people just got laid off recently, so I think that means they all need contractors now. Kind of want to experiment with making the current route an environment as well. Let's see, let's make a commit though, since at least the refactoring bit is done. Took says, did you try Flutter? What did I think about it? I have not tried Flutter. I have had friends who tried it and they liked it for doing cross-platform stuff. I have a merge conflict. Oh, no, it's just squash. Okay. Let's send that upstairs. Bruce Lee says you need to manage and write a lot of plugins. Yeah, I mean, I guess my background is Java, which was write once, debug everywhere a long time ago, and like React Native and Flutter. Just doing that again. Yeah, it means my Android app is not at the same functionality as the iOS app, and the web version is even less functionality. So there are trade-offs. I don't know. I guess I really like, native approaches, I guess. Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, I was saying I wanted to try refactoring the navigation route. I'm also just kind of taking a look through everything. Can this be a let? I think this can be a let. So we have an URL, we send it to the networking helper. Okay, this for real needs a better name. I mean, it's for talking to a microservice using FQauth or FQauth or server itself. You could call it FQNetworking. I guess that would make it stand out if someone else has their own networking helper in their app. Let's wait for FQ API. Yeah, people like API for server things. I just feel like API is kind of a generic name. Because like, Swift UI has its own API. I've definitely been on apps where they called the networking thing the API. I guess I'm just explaining why I would prefer not to. Networking, URL session. Yeah, just networking, I think. Yeah, because again, all this stuff will be available as a library to use in other folks' app. Or I mean, it's all optional. Like folks could re-implement this as their app gets its own legs. Now let's do all the rest of the renaming. Oof. Problem with the 2-letter name. Is this going to be networking or is this going to be FQ networking? I guess for the sample app, it doesn't matter. Because then you start doing like weird things like that, like iPhone. And I think there's one more, maybe not. Let's Command B. Assigning a property to itself, never. Okay, there we go. I guess that looks okay, networking. Well, it's better than NetworkingHelper, and that's the main thing. We're moving forward. Ooh, extra line we don't need. Let's go back to our search. Let's rerun it. And let's run all the tests. Test succeeded. Nice. Oh, we can kill this branch off. Okay. Only renamed and refactored. I feel like there was something else that I said out loud that I wanted to take care of, and I didn't write it down. Yeah, this doesn't need the keychain anymore, right? Nice. This does. This does. And this shouldn't, right? Cool. So let's check check it out again. We have it here in the main app to be explicit. I think that's okay. Yeah, so that to do is to done. So we have our extension around the keychain. We have... Oh, I wonder if we should remove this. Well, I guess it's kind of a nice encapsulated in the file, and this file's already like 30 lines. I think keeping them separate's okay. It makes these read really nice. Oh, and I guess we can say self dot. I feel like I want to put this init at the bottom. Yeah, I don't remember the other thing that I wanted to do that I didn't write down, but that is a little bit of cleanup. Okay. Well, the sun is going down over New York City. I think we just hit, yeah, sunset. We already passed sunset. It says my watch is now showing sunrise in 13 hours. This is about a 3-hour stream. Yeah, right on the dot. I mean, for 3-hour streams. Yeah, so just checking in on the goal again. Yeah, we got 175 out of 200, and I'll do a tie stream. Same thing on YouTube. We're at 94 out of 100. Thank you for the 4 new followers over the weekend. You got a bunch done with the fixing the login controller, and that when it needs to refresh the token, it will actually save it. And we have one controller around the keychain now. Oh, you guys. You can follow the VODs on YouTube. I post my schedule to Instagram and Ko-Fi and basically everywhere. And Instagram, YouTube, Ko-Fi, and the Discord, of course. Please join the Discord. It's fun to hang out with you all there. And all the emojis they appear to be free, and they get like Twitch and Discord sync automatically or something. Yeah, but my website is fullqdeveloper.com, and of course FQauth is on my GitHub. The links are right here. And yeah, links to a bunch of other stuff that I've done, and links to everything down at the bottom. This needs to be cleaned up. But that's going to be it for today. I have I have stuff going on tomorrow, so the next stream is. Oh, I can show the schedule. Because I should post the schedule to my website, huh? Let's see. Where is the finder? This week. Yes, here's the schedule for this week. I'll be out tomorrow, but I'll be back Wednesday and Thursday with more programming. And the fun stream on Friday went so well last week, I'm going to try it again. A fun game called Timberborn. Yeah, so I'll see you Wednesday. Have a good evening, morning, or night wherever you are, and desire something. That's something AI cannot do, but we can as humans. And let's get the outro music going. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later.